doing. And so I've just really been trying to work on like we talked about last time, and like you guys kind of helping me open my throat chakra a bit. So I'm trying to use that like I always looked at that in like a way that it's like, oh, I have to speak my truth. I have to, and almost like in more of an aggressive, but not like a mean aggressive way.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I'm trying to use that in a calm way. Like, okay, my one daughter has like some stuff going on. Like she has sensory processing disorder, lots of anxiety, and like she just has some stuff. And so I'm trying to, when she has her breakdowns, like beat stuff.
So. I think you brought up a great point, which is that when we intuitively know something is going on for somebody, and we, even if we say, ask them what's going on, sometimes they don't know. Sometimes they are not even aware. And I've had this experience with my on again, off again partner over the last 9 years, where I'll be like, dude, I know something is off. Like I can just feel it from you. And he wouldn't even be able to verbalize what was going on. It was like under the surface for him, because he's not really aware of things like that. And so one of the things that I've learned on my path is to be able to acknowledge it and just even say, you might not even know, but I can tell something is going on, and allow them to maybe to open up to that idea too. Like, oh, well, is something, because usually for me at least, my initial reaction is, oh no, I'm fine, because I was thinking that I'm fine. But then, an hour later, I'll be like, gosh, I really have been irritable today. And it gives them an opportunity. But it also allows you the opportunity to, what you were talking about, express what you are perceiving as being, as happening. And just because you feel something, or you're perceiving something, it doesn't mean that it is concretely like right or wrong. It can be an interpretation of something that's going on. But the part where you're expressing it is wonderful, because that gets you into that mode of expressing what you're feeling or seeing or thinking, or all of that, the sensory information that we bring in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also like I know with Nick, when I would know that something was off with him, and he's like, well, maybe I'm just not ready. Maybe I don't want to talk about it. Maybe I don't want you getting all in my emotions. Like, there's a reason why they're mine and they're not yours. And we have to be okay with that. Like, not, it's the codependence thing and working on more interdependence, but it's a process. And, doing the thing for yourself, not just, for approval from someone else. But with you, they can. If they don't, that's their, choice, which is so hard, because we're like, I want to know. I want to talk about it. Let it out.
Yep.
Yeah. That's hard.
Relationships, in our job, in our physical space, in the activities that we do outside of our home, how we relate to everything and everyone, the internet, family, all of that stuff. And so, we do go through this period of readjusting how we interact with all of those different elements in our life. And sometimes when we're going through kind of like a rapid shift, it feels a little discombobulating, because we are readjusting to almost everything, how we interact with everything in our life. So also having that kind of kid gloves with yourself for a little while, and understanding that, oh yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to. And it's not like, it's not always major shifts. Sometimes it's just little adjustments, but you're
in that situation where that night I felt mentally and physically exhausted. Mm-hmm. And I knew it was because of all these things happening. And I just, like my mom called and was like, hey, what's going on? And I was like, I just can't even talk about this. And she even could tell, but she was like, you sound really exhausted. And I was like, I am. So we got off the phone, and then I'm like, I'm going to pull a couple cards. So I did. And the one for me, I pulled the lightning card, which is like basically saying like, this is jolting you into who you're supposed to be, where you're supposed to be, choose, you know, your path sort of thing. And then I got the mystical shaman, which is talking about like, basically what you once thought you wanted to do may not be what you want to do now because you've changed and you've evolved and you're a different person. And I'm like, I don't know, like, I'm not resonating with this one. I'm not sure, like, maybe I'm just too like blocked right now. I'm going to pick it back up tomorrow. And then when I talked to the girl, the wife, she was talking about how her husband wanted to do a specific thing for his career, and that he had been wanting to do this thing since he was 5 years old, and it's just always been a lifelong goal, and he wants to do it now, but it would cause him to like leave his family for a bit, and you know, they have a little family now. And so she said, you know, I think you have to take a look at the fact that like your 5-year-old self is different than your 28-year-old self. And I was like, boom, that card was for him. Mm-hmm. Like, I wish I had my thing down here so I could read it, but like, it was just crazy because the card said pretty much that. And this is someone who is like nonconformist, very science-based, and you know, very like holistic and stuff, but definitely science-based. And how about like, I read the card to him, he said like, I kind of wish you didn't interpret it for me. I wanted to read it on my own and interpret it for myself. And then I'm like, okay, like I understand that. And then he called me and said, hey, is it cool if we stop by right now? And I'm like, sure. And he's like, I kind of wanted to like pull a card. And I'm like, what? Like, this person wants to pull it? Like, it's like that person that you're like, oh, they like probably judge me for doing this woo-woo stuff. And like, homeboy came over and pulled a card. And I was like, I feel like you're not supposed to do this. Like, I don't know all the quote rules on this stuff, but I was like, screw it. Like, I'm just going to let him do it. Oh my God.
Is dreams, because that was something that we talked about. Did you notice anything in your dreams? Did you notice anything upon waking in that kind of liminal state that was different, or really kind of like any thoughts or visions that you'd had?
So like I said before, waking up, it was like kind of like almost waking up in a panic. Mm-hmm. And then I did have one dream that I like remembered. I don't know what it means. I shared it with Tiffany, but it was about her and Nick. Mm-hmm. I've never had a dream about her and Nick since he passed. And it was them, like hanging out or doing whatever. And she was on the phone with me, and I was in the car. I feel like they were younger, and I was in the car, and it was right outside of his house, and him and his brother and his dad were out there talking. And the dad and the brother were completely different. The dad was way older, almost like a grandpa, but it was his dad. And Nick was like very like concerned about where's Tiffany and how's she feeling. And we were kind of like giggling, like, haha, he has no idea we're on the phone and he doesn't even know I'm here, even though I was right there in my car. So I don't know. I thought that was a little bit weird because I've never dreamt about them. And I don't know, just to throw this funny thing in there, he had lightning bolts shaved in his head, but not like the little ones. They were like huge lightning bolts shaved in the sides and the back of his head. So yeah, that was like the dream that I remembered. And yeah, that's like really it for that, and like what I felt upon awakening.
Yeah, dreams are an excellent communication method for spirit, for people who, I mean, yeah, Tiff and I show up in each other's dreams and, you know, do work together in our dreams or in our dream state. Sometimes you remember it, sometimes you don't, but it seems to me that is, you know, that was Tiff and Nick working with you, visiting you, having interaction with you in that sleep realm. Tiff?
Yeah, no, I definitely feel that. And it's funny that he presented as younger, because this came to me. He came to me in a dream once since he's passed, and he was in his 20s. And I just realized as I was writing an Instagram post about him and how he came to me as this young man, and then I thought, oh my gosh, he used to tease me because I dated guys younger than me a lot before him. He was a year older, not even a full year older, like whatever, a number of months older. And, but the boyfriend before him was like 9 years younger than me. And then the other ones were younger, right? And so he always teased me, do you want a younger man? I'm like, no. But he's just teased. So he came to me as this like 20-year-old. I'm like, what do you think I am?
Yes.
So it's funny that we both came young, you know, ready to play and have fun. And he may be the him, where's Tiffany, maybe like, I want to connect to her, like give her the message. That could be.
Yeah. It was, yeah, because he was like frantic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dreams are an excellent mode of communication with, I had somebody that I had connection with in dream that I didn't have really any connection with in 3D physical life. Like they were an acquaintance basically. And I had dreams about them for years. Flying up in the stars, driving in a car. I was at their apartment. I would be in a dream and they would be like on the side of the road. Like we did dream work for years together before we started doing work in real life together. That was, I mean, when it was their higher self, because they weren't ready to connect with me in the physical form yet, but their higher self was ready for us to start doing work together. And so dreams are a great way to delve into that stuff. And even the stuff that's super bizarre, a teacher I had years ago said, even if you can't extrapolate anything else out of a dream, how did you feel? That like it sometimes, like the dream you were talking about, you know, Tiff and Nick are there and, you know, connecting with you and communicating with you. But if it was one of those like super abstract, weird dreams, you could be like, okay, well, just how did I feel? Because that is usually is the takeaway. There's no other thing that you can get from it. But dreams are a great way of connecting. And actually, the Pleiadians, as we were talking about before, often work with us while we are sleeping, not in like a weird, creepy way, but just like it's a time when we are relaxed and where our bodies are at ease. And a lot of what they help us with is changing our physical form. So our physical forms are going through this transition too, and our DNA is changing, how our physical bodies are holding more light, and the Pleiadians really help us to make those transitions in our physical form. That's all I got about the Pleiadians.
Well, so my sister-in-law and I don't know if this is answering the question correctly, but I've been trying to like work on my tribe, to let go of like the people who don't serve me, and to look for or be open to the people who belong in my tribe. And I've had some issues with it, and like Tiffany is, you know, my best friend, and she's in Texas, and so that's been really hard for me. And like, it's like I've reached out to people and not gotten anything back that I felt like, oh, maybe Spirit's guiding me towards them. And then here I am, I'm like talking to my sister-in-law, she's going through a little bit of stuff, and called me and trusted me with her information. And I'm like, dude, she's been right under my nose and we're so alike. She's like holistic and has a garden, and like my garden is my zen, and she's raising her little baby, my nephew, and like Montessori style, and you know, we just have a lot in common. And she's starting to like learn about chakras and doing yoga, and then she was even open to like the reading the cards and energy and stuff, and I never thought she would be into that. And so it's like we were talking because she kind of needed help, and she doesn't ever reach out to people. She's very much like, I don't want to bother you. And I just straight up said, like, dude, I've been looking for people in my tribe, and you've been right under my nose, and you know, like, this is really cool and I want to connect more. And usually I wouldn't say stuff like that. That's uncomfortable for me, especially for someone who doesn't reach out a lot. So I feel like that's a thing.
It is.
Does that make
The
sense?
tribe arrives. When you're ready, the tribe arrives.
Yeah. And just like reaching out, and not, I usually wouldn't do that. Like I would be afraid. Like I'm always awkward with her.
Yeah.
And it wasn't awkward. I was just like, bleh. And then she was like, yeah, definitely. So like, it's something that she's been looking for, like relationships outside of her marriage. And I'm like, word, this is pretty dope, like crazy. So
I love that. You're gonna be doing the gathering events, right? The first Friday of the month, I assume, that we're doing on Zoom. She might want to do that too, so just throw it out there at her and see if she's interested.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
our first one, I think, is coming up next Friday, right?
Okay.
Lauren?
Yep, it's next Friday. It's June 5th, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern. And there'll be links below. So that's actually a good segue. What I would say I was been trying to feel in and see if we should be doing any more focused chakra work right now. And I think that continue doing what you've been doing. The thing that I would suggest is maybe just start pointing your attention towards your sacral chakra. Tiff had mentioned the sacral chakra earlier, and I think we'll do like a ease into work on that, just because you do have a lot of stuff going on around your that area of life for you. So go ahead and just start even thinking about seeing like orange energy and light there in a gentle, supportive way over the next few days. And when we reconnect, we'll see how that's been going, and then see if she and I can also do some supportive energy work in terms of that. But that'll be a great way to kind of ease into working with that.
Yeah, we don't want to like blast you with energy all the time. So I fully agree. And continuing to stay in the root too, and keep that foundation with love, and you're just kind of opening up gently and easily, and connect, do some research on the Pleiadians, like just maybe Google them, or I'll send you something and see how it feels. And you might get if you notice, you get a feeling of like understanding or like familiarity to it, even if it's not information you didn't know, then that is like a sure sign.
Yeah, I think that and we as women and mothers and people have so much stuff with our sacral anyways, just every day of the week, that this will be a great way to to ease into it, because there's a lot of those themes that are coming up globally and nationally for us, and so we have all that outside influence too.
Well, this is weird. Imagine that. But I was thinking like, I feel like I need to work on my sacral chakra, because there's a lot going on there, blocked up, and I'm like, it's affecting stuff. So yeah. And and there's a lot of stuff that we hold there. So
start with the orange energy light, just imagining bringing in that orange, like that really rich orange color to that area. And you know, you can do it as you're falling asleep, or do it when you wake up. You can do it when you're sitting at soccer practice in the car, whatever feels good to you. And continue to take notes about what's going on. Was there anything else, Tiff, that you wanted to address?
No, I think that she's got enough homework for now. She will dive deep, and I want to give her space. Also,
exactly.
This is important. This, even with us, honoring your boundaries and your truth, because this is heavy and this is a lot of stuff, and you're doing the energy workshop this weekend. So if ever we say, hey, do you want to meet? And you're like, don't honor your truth. So do that with us too. And if you feel like,
oh yeah,
just know that this is like a true process of that, getting comfortable, even knowing what that is, because we don't even always know what we want. So it'll just know that it's okay to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I would say for those who've been watching the makeover process, you can participate as well. You know, with the first video, the energy that we offered to Kristin, that's available to you guys. So you can follow along and, you know, just set the intention to receive the energy that is right for you. And so, you know, if we're doing work on the throat chakra and it's not in your highest, greatest good, you're not going to get something that's not meant for you. So you can follow along and do your own kind of progression. You can share your experience in the comments below. Like and subscribe so that you get updates on this, because this is going to be a pretty, it's going to be so cool to be able to see the progression and to see the change, and to be able to visualize it and articulate it from 3 different points of view, because you're getting Kristin, who's going through it, you're getting Tiff, who is her friend and also is supporting her in it, and you're getting mine, which is I've just met Kristin, and so we all have a different perspective, and I think that's actually going to really enrich the experience for all of us.
Definitely.
Okay. Yep. Well, I hope everyone is well. Thank you again for joining us. I hope you guys have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.